What's up everybody, Damon here, and in today's gaming news, the developer of ill-fated zombie extraction shooter The Day Before says it was a victim of a hate campaign. I'm not so sure. Also, Palworld is still unstoppable, and Xbox has a new plan to showcase indie games. This is your Daily Fix. Fntastic, the developer of The Day Before, which was decidedly not fantastic, has claimed its controversial and catastrophic game suffered from a hate campaign. The dev posted a bizarre statement online. Fntastic, which supposedly closed its doors just a few days after The Day Before launched on December 7th, took to Twitter to address misinformation, it says, published online surrounding the game's development. Answering its own question of why did they say that the release game is not the same as that in the trailers and why was the game closed, Fntastic claimed it implemented everything shown in the trailers before admitting it didn't include some minor features like parkour. It then likened The Day Before to, quote, the experiments where you're asked to count pink objects in a room and then recall the blue ones, and claimed the negative bias instilled by certain bloggers making money on hate affected perceptions of the game. The Day Before, which was promised for years to be an open-world, survival, massively multiplayer online game, emerged as an extraction shooter riddled with issues. Our rare 1 out of 10 review said this wholly disappointing online zombie survival shooter contains essentially nothing of what was originally promised over the years leading up to its disastrous early access release. Fntastic claimed reviews improved over launch weekend as it addressed initial bugs, but said the hate campaign had already inflicted significant damage. In reality, however, The Day Before's numbers dipped day by day, and by December 11th, it had entered Steam's 10 worst reviewed games of all time. By the way, the developer added, after sales closed, many people wrote to us that bloggers had deceived them and they liked the game, and they asked for access. We also heard that petitions were created to continue development, and on the black market, the game's price exceeded $200, and some even began to make their own mods. It's entirely possible this is true, but the way it's phrased here has the same energy of that guy at school who boasted having a supermodel girlfriend who no one ever saw because she allegedly lived in another town, possibly in Canada. Max added that. I didn't even know he added that to the script. Thank you, Max. Very funny guy. Fntastic then asked fans of the game to follow it on social media to know what will happen next, adding further confusion to the status of the allegedly defunct developer. The Day Before was once Steam's most wishlisted game before a strange series of events caused fans to grow more and more suspicious. Fntastic was accused of ripping off other games like The Division, Call of Duty, The Last of Us, Cyberpunk 2077, Grand Theft Auto 5, and more on separate occasions, and a trademark dispute complicated things as well. It's interesting, The Day Before and Palworld represent the polar opposites of what can happen when a small developer releases a highly anticipated game into the world. One is a disaster, the other is an enormous success. Speaking of Palworld, its explosive launch shows no sign of slowing down as the Pokemon with guns, crafting, and survival games sold another 1 million copies in a day. According to developer Pocket Pair, Palworld has now sold over 7 million copies in just 5 days. Thank you very much, a tweet from the developer read. We continue to be hard at work addressing the issues and bugs some users are experiencing. The Game Awards boss, Geoff Keighley, tweeted to say he had confirmed with Pocket Pair that the 7 million sold figure is for Steam sales only, so does not include Xbox or PC sales. Of course, Palworld launched day and date on Game Pass too. It's an incredible result for Pocket Pair, whose game has dominated the video game community since going on sale on January 19th. In future updates, Palworld is getting PvP, raid bosses, and new islands. Its close approximation to Pokemon has inevitably led to mods that actually do put Pokemon into the game. However, popular mod site Nexus Mods will not host Pokemon mods for Palworld out of a fear of legal action from Nintendo. Speaking to PC Games In, Nexus Mods community lead Matthew Elliott said the platform is not comfortable hosting Pokemon mods for the phenomenally successful game, but will allow other mods for it. Nexus Mods' stance stems from a fear of potential legal action from Nintendo. Elliott said, as you may know, Nintendo, who jointly own the Pokemon franchise, has a consistent record of mercilessly submitting legal challenges, DMCAs, and takedowns against fan-made content. Mods aside, let's all check back tomorrow to see if Palworld has sold yet another 1 million copies. And finally today, Microsoft has announced the launch of Xbox Indie Selects, a program designed to promote indie games. Rekindling memories of the Xbox 360's famous Xbox Live Arcade, Xbox Indie Selects features a monthly, curated collection of 6 indie games in the Xbox Store, dashboard, and on Xbox social channels. Here's how it works. Every last week of the month, 6 games will be chosen by the ID at Xbox team and designated that month's Indie Selects. The collection will be located in the Indie section of the Xbox Store and Dash, alongside Microsoft's additional indie collections, which will be updated weekly on Wednesdays. The selected games don't strictly have to be games from the ID at Xbox program, Microsoft said. It'll also feature games that look and feel indie. Microsoft added that it will not include indie games already in Game Pass, even if they're fantastic, because Game Pass games are already featured in the Game Pass hub. Microsoft said it launched the program because it wants more people to discover, buy, and play indie games. Glenn Gregory, ID at Xbox marketing manager, said, "We know there are a lot of games out there right now, and it can be difficult for unique titles to find an audience in crowded marketplaces. With a dedicated, permanent, curated collection in the Xbox Store, we'll be able to bring more attention to games that we feel are particularly special, everything from current favorites to older gems to games from new creators from around the world." Now, getting rid of Xbox Live Arcade was one of the most baffling and, frankly, bad calls Xbox has ever made. That was such a great time for Xbox, and games like Pac-Man Championship Edition DX, Braid, Trials HD, and so many more were the kindling that sparked the indie game explosion in that generation. This Xbox Indie Selects program sounds nice, but really, they should just bring back Xbox Live Arcade. And that, my friends, is your daily fix for Wednesday, January 24th. Now that you're caught up on the news, check out the trailer for Parody Game, yet another fantasy title. I'm Damon Hatfield, and for all your gaming news, stay tuned to IGN.